Yes, special greetings to everybody listening to me once again. This is Angel Powers. Once again, I come to you with the mysteries of our time for you to understand the realities of life, the possibilities of the life that we live, and then its possible consequences ahead of us all. It is bound upon mankind to understand the keys and the rhythms that our lives move upon. It is bound upon us all to understand the synonymous valuation of our shadow, our spirit, our soul, and its own form of magnetic attraction. This time, I want to continue with you with the ancestral rhythm, the powers that be, the ancient powers, the spiritual light of all cosmic energies, and then let me take you through the deeper realms of the elements of life. Most importantly, I want to emphasize on the spiritual or maybe mystical aspect of the padlock, because first of all, we can all visit the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita, and all spiritual books, all religious books. It all goes around and comes around to emphasize the point that sometimes things need to be kept secret and sacred. So this day, I want to teach you something about the spiritual or the mystical padlock, the ancient padlock. When I say the ancient padlock, we have all heard that in the days of our ancestors or in the ancient times and even up to date, we still hear that Malams in Africa, traditional priests, prophets, spiritual leaders, gurus, enchanters, priests, and etc. They all have the power to charm, to lock, to bind, and or maybe unlock a particular situation, circumstance, event, or personalities. Now, they do this to change or confirm to the outcome of a particular cause. When I say to change or to confirm, sometimes things move in a natural way. Sometimes things move in an artificial way. It all depends on the balance of nature. And if nature could be balanced, it depends on the neutrality of the forces involved. When the forces involved, so far as the elemental powers are concerned, so far as the energies are concerned, when the forces involved are not into one accord, it means that something would happen in a way of selfishness, greediness, or in a one-way direction, because there is an influence. So when we come to the physical world, you could see that whenever there is an election, people feel cheated. When people are in their marriages, they feel cheated. When people are in other forms of relationships, they feel they are cheated by their partners. Sometimes too, people are at their workplaces and they feel they are being cheated by their bosses. Sometimes too, the bosses feel that they are being cheated by their subordinates. Now, the whole thing goes around and comes around in the form of trust. And whenever there is no trust, something must bind certain things in order. You understand? Yeah. So my specifications and my directions are going to be very clear and vivid for you to properly understand where I'm coming from and where exactly I'm heading to. I am talking about the ancient padlock of spiritual powers. The ancient padlock of spiritual powers. There have been many instances when, through transcendental activities, things change or things work to the favor or in favor of those who possess powers. You understand? Most of the times, everything that happens in this world has its own natural cause and then its artificial cause as well. When I say the artificial cause, such causes include prayer. It includes directions, spiritual and mystical directions. It includes charm. It includes casting spells. It includes enchantment, invocation, evocation, conjuration of spirits and all these stuffs. Why do we do all these things? Why do people pray? Why do people practice juju? Why do people use charms, spells, and other forms of energy to achieve their aim or to attain their purpose? What happens? Why? If things are meant to be stagnant, if things are meant to move in a certain autopilot way, if things are meant to move in a way that nothing can change anything anywhere, why do people pray? Why do people use charms? So what it tells you and I is that there is a God or there are gods, but you are also in that God essence, because God could only work when there is man. Without mankind, no God is working, because no, how could you realize a God if you are not in your human form? How would you know something is a God? Because you don't see with your physical eye. You can only experience or believe through some sort of invisible energies, through your heartbeat, through your mystical connections, or maybe through your faith. So then the gods become powerful when men realize the light. You understand? The gods become powerful when there is realization. You understand? Until mankind rises to the level of realization, actualization, illumination, enlightenment, there is no way any God can be great, because before any God could formalize its operations into full force, it needs the services of man. And this is where the realization point is very, very important. So, what I'm trying to let you understand is that when they say evil, once again, evil is not hanging in the air anywhere. Evil is in the heart of mankind, it is in the heart of man. When they say goodness, godliness, it is also in the heart of man. Because, one, why do you pray if God has made everything already? Why do you do different directions? Why do you do biblical recitations, Bible recitations? Why do you use Quran? Why do you pray 5 times a day? Why do you use Bhagavad Gita? Why are you so conscious about spiritual enlightenment? If everything has been done already, why do you pray? If God has done it already, why do you pray? Why do you do things? Why do you pray that things change or things work to your favor? Life is already imbalanced. It balances itself whenever the players or the entities involved become active. And when I say entities involved in this cosmic world, you as a human, you are an entity. The invisible spirit or the energies around you are also entities. The water body is an entity. The air that you breathe is an entity. The sun is an entity on its own. The moon is an entity on its own. The stars are all entities. And then even the trees and the animals are all entities. If you are able to realize the power point of all these entities, and you are able to neutralize your energy with such entities, that is where you gain power. And after you have gained the power, how do you apply the power? The energies of life. How do you apply the power? So this is the very reason why I want you to understand that since you can pray, since you can fast, you understand, you can observe fasting, since you can do different forms of directions, you can recite the Bible, the Quran, you can use so many spiritual books, do directions, bathing with salt, bathing with honey, doing this and doing that. Since you can do that, it means that God is nowhere automatic. God becomes more powerful when you become active. Your God will become powerful when you become more active. That's why it is even written in the Bible that no food for the lazy man. Yes, that's the connotation of some verses, because first of all, the Bible teaches you and I to watch and pray. You understand? To watch and pray. Why? Why is the Bible not telling you to sleep? You understand? The Bible is telling you to be wise as the snake and to be calm and peaceful as the dove. Then this is how it means. Sometimes you need to make things happen without necessarily fighting, without necessarily publicly or physically acting. Sometimes you need to make things happen with spiritual energy, cosmic light. Such things are real. It makes life balance. So life could only be balanced when the entities involved realize their power point. You understand? So you as man, as a human, if you are able to realize your power point, if you are able to actualize your energies, if you are able to open up your vision and to understand the principles of life, the laws of nature, the dynamics of all cosmic lights, the energies around us, the elemental gods, the herbal powers, the zodiac signs, and all these things, if you are able to master it, including numerology, if you are able to master this, that is when you can actualize your potential. That is when you can activate the power in you. That is when you can connect the godly spirit in you to the spirit of the universe. And that is where you could see the light. And you need something so special to control these things. The other time I was teaching you about the rings and how it works, and that is so powerful and real. I have over 1,000 testimonies. This time I'm talking to you about the ancient padlock. Our ancestors have a way of making things happen. When it comes to making your marriage work, or protecting your work, protecting your finances, protecting your children, protecting your home from the enemy's attack, from the evil encroachment. If you want to protect yourself from all evil powers, all evil eyes, you need to understand the dynamics of spiritual energy, what to use at the right time. Because those who want to prepare their soup or their stew, they know the essence of the salt. Those who are who want to prepare their coffee or their tea, they know the essence of sugar. Those who are in the hospitals, they know the essence of medicine, the importance of medicine. You understand? Whichever field you are, there is something so essential you cannot skip. And that is why in spirituality you must know what to hold, what to use at the right time, the weapons of spiritual power. You understand? I call it the weapons of spiritual power because sometimes you need to pray. Sometimes you ought to meditate. Sometimes you need to be in fast or observe fasting. Sometimes too, you need to apply some sort of energy, a different energy altogether. You need a certain power, you need a tool, you need a weapon, you need a special weapon. And sometimes, before you can hold water, you don't need a net to hold water. You need something that can contain the water. So there are certain spirits, there are certain energies, there are certain powers. You cannot just use your mouth to control them. You need something like padlock to capture such energy into a very fixed position for a proper and permanent action. So you want to protect your marriage, you want to protect your finances, you want to protect your work, you want to protect your home, you want to protect your position. People who need power, you want a position, you want to attain position, you want to be king or queen, you want to be a prominent person. You are rising up and people are hating on you. You have to protect yourself. You understand? You need this mystical padlock. You just open it. Then you go to the crossroad. Pick a sand. Drop it in the hole. Come home. Pick a pinch of powder. Drop it in the hole. Pick a pinch of salt. drop it in the hole, and then you start commanding. Whilst you are in nakedness, you start commanding your wishes onto it. And because I have already prepared or connected or embraced the padlock with the energies of power and control and charming, it works to your advantage whenever you are able to apply it in such manner as being directed openly and secretly. For secretly, if you get this padlock, I know what to tell you. Some things that you may do that nobody should know. And openly, as to the sand, the salt, and the powder, it is constant. You need it. And then, as you command and you close it, whatever you have commanded will come to pass because of the energies involved and the procedure by which you did the direction. Nothing can stop it. Everything has its own way. When you see a train moving, it passes through the rails. You understand? Because the railway line is where the train passes. The railway line is where the train passes. You understand? The cars have their road. The car itself has its road, and the drivers have their own road. They pass through the asphalt. That's the asphalt roads. You see the aeroplane in the air. You see the ship on the waters. So it tells you that everything that you want to do in this world has its own way. And if you are able to understand this rhythmic pattern, life will be very easy for you and your testimony is assured. Now, let me give you some few important quotations that you need to read and understand connotatively in connection to what we call charm or charming items. Yes, because even in the Quran, there are quotations that symbolizes the importance of charm, because even in Quran chapter 19 verse 35 it is written that when he decrees an affair, he only says it to be, and it is as it is. When he decrees an affair, he only says to be it be, and it is. When he decrees an affair, he only says to it be, and it is. Like Allah in his own wisdom commands something and it happens. Why is that commandment in practice? Why is it in motion? It is in motion because when you have the right energy to command, things work. If you believe, it will work. There is power in your tongue. There is so much power on your tongue that when you are able to proclaim such a word on a special spiritual item, things will work in your favor. This is a top secret, and it is up to you to seek more knowledge, seek more direction, and I'll teach you more. You understand? So Quran chapter 19 verse 35 in simplicity clarifies how God in his own wisdom can command something to be, because whatever he says happen. Why? Because God, as in God, has accumulated all the necessary energies. So you who has the breath of God in you need to also do something that will glorify God, because God created you in his own essence. Is that not what the Holy Book say? Okay. And sometimes even in the Proverbs, even in the Bible, Proverbs chapter 17 verse 8 symbolizes. You understand? It sometimes synonymizes charm to bribe taking, because sometimes when people give others bribe, it automatically charms them because they hold them in their heart and they hold their mind in motion. So it is like a bribe, it's like a magic. You understand? The book of Proverbs chapter 17 verse 8 is telling you that a bribe is like a magic, and the key word here is magic in the eyes of the one who gives it. Now, magic, why is a bribe or something that can control people's mind is being linked with magic? It is being linked with magic because when you have something like a magic padlock, you have already captured somebody's soul. So it is up to you to control it. You understand? When you use it, you have already captured somebody's soul. So it is up to you to control it, because whoever you try to control will obey to your instructions, because so far as you do it with clear mind, clean purpose, good heart, with positive energy, your answers are always coming to be testimony. Your answers are always going to be positive and your testimony is assured. Yes, because sometimes there are so much examples that we can give in connection to magic that even the holy books understand how powerful magic could be. Because even there was a man named Simon. If you go to the Bible in Acts chapter 8 verse 9 to 13, you could see clearly that it is written that there was a man who was named Simon, who had previously practiced magic in the city and amazed the people of Samaria. Now, how could magic amaze people? Because it is working, because they are seeing signs and wonders that they could not fathom, they cannot understand. Why? Because that person has accumulated a secret and sacred energy, and that energy is what I am lending to you right now for your prosperity, for power, for your breakthrough, for you to maintain your wife, for you to maintain your husband, for you to maintain your work, your fiancé. You need this mystical magic padlock, and that is that. Let me end here. I will continue with you in another time, and we call for the grace of the Almighty, we call for power, we call for more wisdom and knowledge, and we call for peace and blessings.